Welcome back to another episode of AchromatiCraft. Do you recognize this tree? Well, maybe some of you do because you've seen my very first episode, but for those of you who haven't, I figured now is a perfect time to do a world tour of my AchromatiCraft server. A lot of you have joined since I created this world, and so it's time for us to take a tour. Alright, so here at the spawn, you can see I've taken down quite a few trees. We've put a path in over time, and it's not very achromatic. I wanted to have a little nod to my starter home, so I rebuilt it over here so that I could remember what it looked like before it went grayscale. Alright, now we didn't actually travel that far to get to our original village. So when we started this world, we hung out here a little and then just went over on this hill to see what was there. And if we jump over here, you can already see the village coming into view. But when I originally came into this area, and I'm going to land here for a second, this is what it looked like. So as you can see, we had the village, we had a nether portal, or at least a ruined nether portal, and that was kind of it. And so let's jump back over. And now you can see there's all sorts of stuff in here. We're going to go on a tour of it, but the first place we're going to go is kind of where this infestation, at least this gray that we're calling it, all started. Let me fly down here. So this was the original spot. We decided to dig straight down into that hole. And when we did, we built a drill to go down and pretend like it was drilling it out. But pretty soon, we found out that this happened. The infestation started coming up out of the ground, and it spread all over our village. So back here, what we originally had was that house that I showed you over at the spawn point was in here. But as the infestation crept out of the mine and took over our house, it turned it all grayscale. So this was our original house. We had a little bit of storage down in the basement. Let's see here. Even turned all of our fire blue. And not much in here. We did a little decoration. There was a little extra storage up there. And here was our bed. And the sun's going down, so I'm going to sleep. And then we're going to jump back into the tour. Alright, so back out here, as you may have seen in some of the episodes, we actually created a big farm here. And now it's got a whole bunch of different houses. It's got some infested crops still here. But this was where we had a large potato and carrot farm. And the reason we built that, and I'm going to come up here, is that we wanted to have a big trading hall, a place where we could have all the different villagers. And so I wanted to use those potatoes and carrots to really get us going. So coming up here, this is what we built for our villager trading hall. So we got our librarians, our farmers, obviously we use them a lot, our shepherds, our fletchers and clerks. We got plenty of these guys. We never finished this tower on the back. Yeah, we should probably do that sometime. I put armor stands in so I could put some cool different guys. Still haven't quite got to that. But as you can see, we have all the different villagers that we trade with. And as we got more and more grayscale out here, I couldn't keep the crops, but wanted to be able to keep the crops. So we built a basement where we can put our sugarcane, our different potatoes. Oh wow, that's really full. I should probably come back and trade with him. And how are we doing on carrots? Alright, carrots a little slow since I last traded. But this is where all the color hides so that we don't see it. But that is our trading hall. We got that built pretty quick. And it provided us all of our needs kind of for all of our food, all of our weapons, all of our armor. And there you go. Let's do a little fly around so you can kind of see what that looks like. Alright, so this thing from the outside, we really tried to give the villagers a place to live. So as you can see, they have a little patio. Each of them have an interior and then a patio where they can come out and be able to not feel like they're in prison all the time, but at least be able to move around as much as we would allow them. So there you go. There is our trading hall. All right, moving on from the trading hall, we started building some little houses. We're not going to go through all of the different houses that we built. Let's see, this was our original storage house. And so that was kind of the one that originally took over from the original village, which was mostly up there. And we had a portal over here, which as you can see is long gone. But before we do that, what we started to do is build kind of our farm row. And what I mean by that is there's different farms in these different buildings. So the first one we built here was our iron farm. So there's villagers up in here, there's zombies in here, and more villagers here. I think I have it turned off right now, but what happens is when the golems spawn, they fall down in here, and we get iron. And you can see we have plenty of iron. That's why I turned it off. But let's take a little aerial view of what this one looked like. Okay, as you can see, we really tried to focus on making sure that the outside still looked visually really nice. We wanted to make sure in this series that everything just looked like it went grayscale and the color just fell out of it. So we still want that great contrast. We still want to be able to have amazing builds. And that is our iron farm. Okay, so now from this iron farm, which was doing really well, we wanted to be able to trade wool. So we built this wool farm, which is kind of hard to tell it's a wool farm. It looks kind of just like a factory. But if we come in this door, I can kind of show you how it's set up. This is another thing I've turned off because I want to eventually turn all these into the colors that I need. But there's a track that runs underneath. They obviously get sheared, and it gets brought clear over to the other side here. You can hear it ticking a little. But I made it so it shoots out. And originally we just had a collection storage underneath, but then built this house. So it actually shoots them out. It comes through and you can see the ice go in there. And it goes up into these chests. And as you can see, we're not hurting for wool. There's plenty there. We use that a lot to trade with our villagers. So this is kind of hard to see from the ground. So let me take another fly around of this. All right, from the outside, you can see that little storage building that we have. And then you can see the factory is pretty symmetrical. Wanted to go with a pretty standard build that would surround the whole farm, but yet still look pretty good. So that is our wool factory. And moving on from there, once we got these going, we were really starting to roll in the emeralds, getting all the things that we needed. And so we needed to go to the Nether. So originally our portal was that ruined one that was over here. But we built this one that took us into the Nether from pretty much any side. And the idea here is that whether you were coming through a road this way, from over there, or from the other side, you could just walk straight in. So it's a four-sided portal. And right now, well, it doesn't take you into a very impressive area. It's got kind of just whatever I could put in here to make this place safe. And so we'll go in different directions. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but it goes in all the different directions to the different districts. And if you don't know about the districts, that's kind of what we're doing here. So I'll show you what that means here in just a minute. Okay, so coming out of the Nether portal, this is really the spot that I knew I was going to be building a lot of in Grayscale. So we had the wool, that's great for kind of the dirt. Oh, I haven't even explained that. So the grass, what I've used is gray wool and gray concrete powder. So that kind of gives us the grass. And yes, if you're wondering, it's way too much work. Don't ever do this. Oh, I've had to use so much bone meal and so much squid ink to make the gray. So this is crazy, but I think it really helps sell the theme. And oh, I guess I should point out the trees too. Coral. We should go out to our coral farm. If I don't remember, I'll try and do it in another one. But we go out there. I use a data pack that helps me craft them because I would drain the whole ocean if I didn't have that data pack to be able to craft them. And then obviously we're using basalt for the tree trunks, at least here. So there's our trees and kind of our landscaping. But what that led to is us needing a place that we could come out and get more stone and cobblestone. So we built a generator. And this isn't going to work real well because I don't have our beacon on. So once we got a beacon, that really helped us go fast. Let's just turn it on while we're here. Can I show you? This thing keeps being whatever block because I keep dropping it. That's going to turn our beacon on. It's going to give us haste. And it makes getting stone a lot easier than going down into the mines. So I can just sit here, kind of toggle between the two. And as you can see, that makes it pretty easy. So I'm not going to do a tour of this because it's getting night. We'll do it here in just a second. And this one is our basalt generator. So this one, a little bit different, obviously, because of how you have to set it up. We got the ice on top, the lava on the side, and the soul sand on the bottom. Uh-oh, and I just ruined it. Whoops, that's kind of the problem if you do this one wrong. Broke the blue ice, so we're gonna have to get more, but that just feeds down into a chest in here. All right, so obviously that's kind of our two farms with our beacon down in the ground. And I'm gonna take you on a little tour and show you what this area looks like. So we've got these. I tried to make them look very much like factories, so didn't want it to be kind of the medieval styling of the rest of the city, but wanted these to really feel like they were factories. The trees are in here a little tight on some sides, but there is an overall view of what those look like. And I should mention this, I guess, while we're here, it's tucked in pretty tight. This is our mud farm. So as you can see, we use mud. It's got a little bit of blue and purple in it, but it fits pretty well in this world. So I'm not going to go into that. It's just your standard mud farm. But those are kind of my 4 that I get all of my main building materials from. Okay, and due to time, I'm not going to show you every single thing that we've done here in that level of depth. But I'm going to take us out here because this is where I really want to tell the story of farming. But this wasn't just a tight city, but there was some rural portions to it. So we really went probably too crazy out here. We put some extra sheep out here, and this took me so long to get all of this dead coral that we put out here so we could really sell that this looks like a wheat field that's been infested. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit too big of a project, and I haven't quite finished it out here. But we got a windmill, another building over here, another little house. Oh, I forgot I even had this. A bee farm. We built this so that we could get plenty of honey. Got that in. Built some trees. This is where I really tried to start peeling away from these kind of trees and start looking, could I do them in white and make it look different? So we've got a few of those sprinkled around here. And obviously I haven't done the farm around here. And then one of the critical things is seeing if we could get a grayscale horse. So we got a bunch of them. I've been breeding them up, trying to find the fastest one. I don't know if we've got a really great one yet. So that's at least the horses. And I keep my best ones out here in front. So whenever I need to, I'll jump on one of them. This is the guy I've been using. Maybe we should use him right now. That might help speed us up a little. But as you can see, this is where the infestation stops. There is water, river that came all the way through. And so we've kind of been using that as our boundaries. So we didn't have to change the whole world. It's really just where this infestation came out. So as you can see, we're still working in this area. But this takes us kind of through our farming district. Oh, and I should show you this. This is a bridge we built that goes right back over to spawn. So that's the main path. So I thought this was kind of cool that we could have a pathway that went into a regular bridge. And as you can see, the infestation started going over the bridge. So that side's the grayscale, this side's the regular. Kind of a fun way of doing it. All right, now getting back into the city, you can see we're on the side of that villager trading hall. And I'm just going to kind of ride through the city here. You can pause it if you want to see, We started creating stands with different people, looking at different armor that we're going to put on the people here. You can see I've got the mod in here, or not the mod, the data pack where we can have stands with people holding things, different sizes, being able to pose them. I really wanted to do that so that we could make this place feel alive. This is our storage room. I guess I should show that to you, although maybe some of you have already seen this, because we built one just like it out in our desert district. So nothing too grand. I didn't put windows in here because I didn't want all the color to show through. And my horse is still here. Cool. All right, so I just have been building other buildings. Really, we went through a phase of, can we replace the whole village with a grayscale village? So this is us putting in extra boosts, different buildings. A lot of these don't have anything in them yet. So that's a project for another day. But we really just let this village spread out. And we'll keep doing this more and more. But up in this one is where we do our crimson stem. So if you didn't notice, I have grayscale wood in here. And that is because I retextured crimson stem. Yes, that's our big cheat for the season. But we needed all the different trapdoors, doors, and just some extra texture. So that is the one thing. This isn't a completely grayscale world in the fact that we did do that. But it's helping us really to play into what does grayscale look like and how do we build quality builds without having to use color. And so that's kind of what this place is. We can go in and look a little bit real quick. So as you can see, I've got some growing down there that I chopped down. And then this is our farm that we can turn on pretty easily. Let it run, get all the stuff from it. And that is how we get all of this, what's it called? Crimson fungus. Then we'll just plant that down at the bottom. Oops, we don't want to do that. I forget, this is where our composter is, somewhere in here. There we go. So we let that compost, and then it feeds it back in here to that hopper, or sorry, not the hopper, the dispenser. So all the bone meal goes in here, shoots it up, and that's how it runs. And then we just take those fungus, put them down there, and grow them up. And so that is how we get all of our cheaty wood here. But we needed it, so that was the one compromise I made on the series. All right, and just on the outside here, we needed some blue dye, which I didn't realize. So I'm not going to go over there, but you can see where I was experimenting where we could put up a flower farm to get that blue dye. So we created one over there, and we use that for all of our cyan terracotta. All right, so that is kind of our medieval district. This is where we started. This is where the concept really started coming together. But as we did that, I realized that I wanted to see, would this work more than just kind of this medieval style? Could we push it to other styles? So I'm going to hitch up my horse here, and we're going to travel out to a snow district, which I haven't done much there just yet, but at least want to show you where we're starting to try and take this grayscale concept. Okay, so just outside of our portal here, you're going to see some of what we've done around here is for a while I decided I was going to build these grand tunnels that were going to go to all the districts. We haven't done that yet. We'll get there. This goes to another fortress that we found, and this is where we went down to look for ancient debris. So just a few things there. And before we built our farm for the Crimson Stem, this is where I used to come out. We'd work on it here, so we didn't have to bring it all the color into our grayscale world. But once we built that, I really haven't been out here that much. And then this tunnel leads to our snow district. It's a long ways out there, so I'm just gonna run out there and then I'll bring you back in. Okay, I guess it wasn't that far of a run. Only had to speed up a little. But what you're gonna see is we're gonna go over there, but before we do, this is our sand district. This is, or not our sand district, our sand mining. This is where we get all of our sand, or at least that's where we started. And I guess I should just show you while we're clear over here, our coral farm. So I'm going to run through here, get to our coral farm, and you can see it's a pretty straight shot, but let me run over there real quick. Okay, that wasn't too bad. As you can see, most of these things aren't too far away in the Nether, which is pretty good. Little time, but no big deal. But this is our coral farm, so this is actually pretty cool. I won't sleep, I think we should be safe out here. But I didn't want to destroy this ocean. I thought it looked too good. I did do a portion over there, and then found out that I could put a simple data pack that if we turn this on and we get going, you can see it kind of puts the different stuff in there. We can take out our pickaxe and all that stuff will come up. I'm not going to do it right now, but it basically comes up, shoots down. It's being a little slow popping up, but we would do that. Grab it, and we just need enough of this that we can craft it into the different blocks. And you can see I still have a few left out over here, but nothing too big. But this is where we get all the coral that we then use to kill for our trees. But I didn't feel right killing all that, so that's why we got this one. Okay, and we're back to the sand mining portal and the coral farm over there. And I don't know why I keep saying that this was a snow district. This is definitely not the snow district. This is where our sand district is. So we're actually going to jump in there real quick, and then I'll go show you kind of the other areas. Oh, this guy's gonna give us trouble. All right, he didn't give us too much trouble, and now he's dead. Okay, so this is our sand district. I don't know why I kept saying snow. And it's nighttime. Let me sleep, and then I'll give you the tour. And welcome to the Sand District. Man, this place has changed quite a bit since we first got here. As you can see, we built a massive pyramid. We'll get there in just a minute. You can see the village is still over here on the side. That's really where we got started. And the biggest thing that we did first was these farms. This is the first thing that we really built here, because I knew I wanted to get villager trading up. This thing is a whole bunch of buildings, or at least it looks like it, but the doors don't actually go anywhere. So there's actually a village or a farm inside of here with a villager in here, and then another farm over here. And I really have no way of showing this because they're kind of trapped in there. We basically built a case around the farms, but they come over, they throw the, oh, maybe there is a way over here. Oh yeah, you can kind of see in there. There's a farm over there with a villager and a farm over there and another villager. So that villager will come over, try and throw it to this one, and then it obviously goes into these hoppers. And I'm pretty sure we have a lot in here because I haven't traded for a while. Yep. So we got plenty of resources in there. We need to build this out a little bit better someday. But let's do a fly around so you can see what this portion looks like. All right, so this was, as you can see, those two different farms, but I really wanted to look like a whole, I don't know, complex of buildings that a bunch of people lived here, not some giant farm. And wow, I've got a lot of golems. I should probably use some of them for iron. But we built this all the way out. I think this really set the tone for the whole rest of our village, because now we knew that we wanted to build it a little tighter and that we wanted to kind of use this style, which I thought was pretty cool, especially since we were coming from a medieval district. So moving on from this is where we needed to get a lot better way of getting out here. We had a portal, but it wasn't the best portal, but I wanted something epic, something that really framed out this area, gave us a main central focal point, and I think we did it. I don't know if I've ever built a portal this big, and if this looks familiar, I actually used an image that I really loved online, so I don't want to take credit for this design, but we did do it in Grayscale and then added a little extra element. And the idea here is this is like the all-seeing eye of the desert, to try and build some lore into this area. But this is our main portal that we have out here. And from this portal, you kind of get a view of all the different things that we did. And I shouldn't have run all the way over here because our next major project was building a trading hall. I think every one of our districts is gonna have a trading hall just for ease, for being able to have all the materials we need. But we built this guy. And this one I definitely wanted to make sure didn't feel like the last one. So this one we put kind of a central courtyard and then different little booths for all the different villagers to live in. We haven't gotten our librarians up just yet, but we kind of have all the rest of them. So I think this is pretty cool. What's nice about this is I can jump in, I can trade with them, and then I can jump out. But if you listen, oh, maybe you can't hear it very well. There's honey blocks under here. That's what we used all that honey for. So this way, the villagers can't come over and jump out because it's too sticky. But if we get a running jump, we can jump right out. So I thought that was a pretty fun way of keeping them in, but still being able to trade with them. Okay, now back here at the portal, I gotta show you what's on the other side because this ended up being maybe my favorite part of this whole village. So as you can see, I look a lot at sightlines. So looking that direction, then looking back at the portal. And what I wanted here was a main street. So a lot of these buildings don't have much in them just yet. We'll get this a little more decorated out. We put a few trees in here, and as you can see, we really tried to go with a different style, used a different type of coral. And down here, we do have a few buildings that are important. So I believe I made this one. Yep, that's right. This is a cactus farm, which this is very unsafe. But as you can see, we put all of our cactus up there. It comes over, gets fed into the other side of this building. Oh yeah, I forget that I put windows here. You can see into the cactus farm. It all gets funneled, goes over here, shoots up, and into these so that we can come use our lava farm over here and get all the dye we need. I've got plenty, so we haven't been running this. But that is our cactus farm, which we use the cactus because what I wanted was what's over here. This is our terracotta farm. Have you ever made terracotta? Nope, probably not, at least in this way. It's easier just to go mine it, which we have a mine over there. But I thought this would be fun. You put your dirt in here. This machine has the water bottles in it, so it makes it into mud. The mud comes over. I don't think I have a good way down. You can kind of get a glimpse there. There is dripstone under here, which makes clay. As you know, you take your silk shovel, and then I put a secret smelter under here. So we can come put all of it in here, put the fuel that we need in, and out comes terracotta. Is that way too much work? Oh yeah, it's so much extra work. But if you got a lot of dirt, this is a cool way of converting it into clay or mud or even into terracotta. So it's overkill, but y'all know this is Minecraft. We just have to do some fun stuff. And then with all the ingredients I needed for some of these different items, like you can see here, we're using the light gray of the wool and the concrete powder. We needed a place to store all of it. So we built the silos. I love this place because every time that I have gravel, which one's sand? One's sand and the other is, I forget. We better push the buttons. But what's cool is we can come out here. All the storage is up in there. There's a little trap door and a ladder. But all I have to do is come, click this. Oh, it's terracotta. I forgot that I put that in there. That's good to remember. But it gives me a full stack. So I can come in when I need terracotta. I believe this one's a sand one. Nope, that's the gravel. Get a full stack of that. And we can come over here, and this has got to be the sand. There you go. And so that makes it pretty nice. Again, do we need something this fancy? Nope. But it's Minecraft. We want to do something fun. We could just have a whole bunch of chests. But I love kind of this interaction. Makes it feel like we live in the city a little bit more. All right. So, but now, instead of showing you all these buildings, let's just do another flyover. All right, so as I mentioned, these are kind of our towers. I tried to put a little different symbol on each of them. I don't know if it works, but that symbol where the terracotta comes out matches the one that's on the terracotta building. There isn't too much around these just yet. And we've started just placing a bunch of buildings. So this gets a little tedious of just putting empty buildings, but what I really want to do is give us a really big city. And so I've started actually putting a lot of dirt and sandstone down, because what we do is I want to be able to scoop out the sand underneath. So that's kind of why we're putting this in, is we can do all of our terraforming, nothing will fall, and we can use this same area as a sand mining area. So kind of double purpose there. But now it's getting night, I better sleep. But this is what this half of the village looks like. All right, with a new morning and being in this part of the village, we are ready to go look at maybe the biggest project I've ever done, and maybe will ever do, is this pyramid. So this pyramid, if you can't tell, is kind of embedded into the mountain. There was already a big hill here. I didn't know really what I was going to do with it, and I thought it would be fun if this temple was kind of embedded into the ground. It made it look like there's maybe still something being discovered here. And I'm about to give you some spoilers, I realized. This is going to be in the next episode, but I've started working on what's going to be inside of here. So you're going to see some spoilers there. I'm going to keep my head down. But we started a mob farm. What could be better inside of a temple than a mob farm? So what's cool about this is that as the mobs fall into this block, you can see they fall down here. And I thought that was kind of a cool way of doing this area. So eventually we'll build a throne out here, but this is our mob farm. Everything's gonna fall down. And you can see I'm starting to explore what some of the columns are gonna look like. But that is the next episode, so come back for that. I might keep my head down here again so I don't spoil. But this is our pyramid. Let me do a fly around of that real quick. Okay, here we go. This is our grand pyramid. So as you can see, it's got 4 pillars kind of out in the front. These main towers, I'm not quite sure what to do with just yet. We can obviously fly around here, go a little quicker. I haven't got this infestation coming all the way around the pyramid just yet. And it's kind of floaty off the back. And maybe we'll just do what a lot of other people do and not finish the backside. Because really this is a big enough mountain. We've got the original city. I'm just going to keep doing a flyover here. We've got the original city here. And then we've been putting a lot of village just through here. Still need to figure out what we're going to do. You can see I've marked out roads. But this overall is our sand district. Definitely lots more projects we can do here. We still need to make over the original village, but I'll just give you a little higher view of kind of all the work that's gone into this area. Oh, it's been a fun one, but it's so much work, especially with all this quartz. It means me trading, going to trade with the villagers, and then crafting it into what we need. Oh, and I haven't shown you this. We won't go inside because it looks just like our other one. But this is kind of our take on a desert bank, and inside of there is all of my storage. You don't need to see that. It's pretty much laid out just like the medieval district, but that is our sand district. Now I can get that snow district off of my mind and we can actually go to it. So let's run through the Nether. I won't show you that, but let's go through the Nether and check it out. All right, so we've run down a long tunnel, kind of from our medieval district. It's kind of in the opposite direction of where we were, but we've got our snow district, which I haven't done much in here yet, but want to kind of at least give you the thought here. So as you pop out, you can see this place is already a lot of grayscale, and there's a village. I don't know if I mentioned that, but one of the requirements for every area we're in is that it has to have a village. So this didn't quite have one in the snow, so we'll move the villagers that are up there. And I guess I can fly up there. to kind of show you. There's that village, but it's a plains village. It just happens to barely be in the snow, so we're gonna go for it. And I guess while I'm in this kind of flying mode, you can see here's our portal. So we're really gonna play into water. Let's see if there's a good spot to land here. We're gonna really play into water, hasn't been infected by the infestation. And so we can get beautiful blue. I know this might be cheating a little. We're going to stay grayscale as much as we possibly can, but we'll play into the ice out here. So this district might be a little bit different because we'll have some tints of blue, but we've kind of been playing into that because there isn't a lot of lighting that is grayscale. So we've been using the blue. But there you go. There is our portal in this area. Now we haven't done very much out here just yet, and I gotta be careful because there's some powdered snow. We've got an ice farm, a snow farm, and that's it. We haven't done much out here. Oh, and I guess one last thing I should probably show you is I'm trying to take a map of all of them. And I should have shown that back in the sand district. Man, but in the bottom of the pyramid, I actually have a map room. And I'm gonna have a map room in most of them so we can take an early screenshot. I don't know if that's a screenshot, early maps, lock them, so we can see what it looked like, and then as we go over time, being able to really see what the city looks like. So that's kind of what we've done, and then I should see. We used a book and quill for a while. These are kind of our requirements for a district. It has to be a village, close to spawn. One thing I really want to make sure in this world is we're not just traveling to crazy places. It needs to be somewhat close to spawn. We have to figure out where did the infestation come from that's making our world go grayscale in that area. A portal, trading hall, has to have at least 2 villagers, and then the original map. So I should check some of those off, but that's at least a little view into kind of the requirements for each village. All right, and this video is getting a little long, so we're going to jump into the last district. I've identified 12 different districts, but haven't really done anything at them. So the last is what we're calling the capital district. So let's jump over there. Okay, this district is not too far from kind of where our spawn and our medieval is. Clear over on the other side is the snow. Over on that side is the sand. And this is the capital district. Again, we need to have better tunnels in here because I'm a little worried about that guy coming for me. Oh, so many of those guys. But again, here we have our village. We're eventually going to build a road that comes straight out here. Okay, I was worried he was hostile. This is where our capital building is going to be. It's going to be epic. At least I hope. I haven't built that just yet. But this is our portal that we have out here. As you can see, we're really going to go for kind of a grand area here. I want this to look really nice. This is going to be our main focal point to the city. So we build it up on the hill a little. Tried to really go with that capital look. Be a little grand. And hopefully not be too grayscale. I want this to be white. Make it look like that's exactly how they build it. So as you can see, again, we haven't done much out here. We got our village identified. Put a portal in. This is going to be the future. I really want to build out this whole AchromatiCraft server for us to be able to play on for a long time. So even though I'm giving you a glimpse of this, we still might not get to this area for a while. I just really want to start identifying areas that we can play on here for the next 10 years. I don't know. I've been playing Minecraft for 14. What's another 14? So let's jump back and we'll wrap up this episode. All right, y'all, that is going to do it for this episode in this world tour. There's way too much in here to show you everything, remember all the details, so definitely go back and make sure you check out some of the episodes. It's a lot to watch. There's 40 of them. Don't expect you to watch all of them, but definitely go pick out some of them because we did so much cool work here, and I can't wait to keep doing it. But if you've never built in Grayscale, give it a try sometime. It's really going to help you understand how well you understand color and contrast. Because once you can do it in Grayscale, it's a lot easier to do it in some other colors. And to that point, if you haven't checked out my Craftworks SMP, I'm building in all grayscale there. Yep, I'm that crazy guy. I'm still going to use some colors over in that world, but the majority of my buildings are going to be brown scale. So definitely go check that out and see if I can build as well in brown as I can in gray. But y'all, that is going to do it. Definitely make sure you leave some comments. Tell me how you're liking this series, any ideas you have, and I'm super excited to keep building in this area. So tell me more about what you want to see, and until then, we'll talk to you soon.